Hmm. It's funny how I constantly get this stupid ass question of why I don't want to go back on the Weapon Wheel podcast. And I'm just fucking tired of fucking answering this shit in fucking DMs. I really am. So I decided to just make a video response to the individuals that keep on asking me why I don't go back on this podcast. Now, first, let's talk about how I got on there in the first place. Uh, I was on Twitter and having a conversation with Broken Games about, I don't know, some shit, some bullshit. And um, I think we disagreed on something. I said yes, he said no, and that was pretty much it, right? And then out of nowhere, fucking Black Bond told me to eat a dick, and we got in an argument about that shit for like a day, and then that was that. Pretty much left it alone. So maybe like a few days later, maybe a week later, I get invited to the Weapon Wheel podcast. I couldn't make it. I had some other shit to do. So that was it. You know, weeks go by, months go by. I don't get another invite. Then I get an invite to go onto the podcast, and you know, when you're just sitting there while it's not broadcasting, everybody's normal. You know, they talk to you normal. Nobody's talking fucking crazy. But all of a sudden, when it's being broadcast, that's when motherfuckers get on there and start attacking you. You know, and then from the jump, right then and there, I realized, okay, this is what it is. You know, this isn't fucking about gaming. This is about basically bringing people on so you could roast them. That's basically what it is. You know, if I hadn't gotten an argument on Twitter with Black Bond, they would have never fucking even asked me to be on the podcast because I don't have that many subs on YouTube, you know, so it's not like I have a big fucking audience. You know, yeah, I've been on other people's podcasts, and yes, I do have a semi decent presence on Twitter, but even there, I'm not fucking huge. You know, I just leave my comments and that be that. But you know, so I always saw it as being a little funny, but I was like, whatever, you know. But to be honest, that whole experience being on that podcast, I mean, we really didn't fucking talk about games. I mean, we really didn't. Like half the shit was about games, and then it went into some, the fucking arguments about bullshit. You know, just fucking bullshit. And I've been on multiple podcasts. I've been on Mooch's podcast. I've been on PTK's Council Corner, um, and it's just that. And I've listened to multiple podcasts, and this is the only one that they just want to fucking argue with each other on the podcast. Like the central idea to this fucking podcast isn't gaming. It's like, roasting each other, and let's talk about games in the process. And that shit ain't for me, man. So that's why I'm not going back on that podcast, yeah. I mean, that's basically all it is. All they're trying to do is roast individuals. They deny it and say that's not what it is. We just roast people that basically says shit that we don't agree with, because that's basically what they're saying. Oh, well, they say shit we don't agree with, so we basically roast them. But there's a lot of people that say shit, that a lot of people won't agree with. It's all opinions. The shit is just fucking ridiculous to me. The fact that, you know, people can't see plain as day why motherfucking Xbox dudes don't want to go on that podcast, because it's not one, it's their whole audience is mainly PlayStation guys, right? Half the time they talk about shit I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about, because I'm not a PC guy. So when they start talking about PC shit, I fucking zone the fuck out. All right. So that's another reason why it's not. It's just not. It's just nah, man. It's just not into. I mean, I'm a console dude. I like fucking consoles. I'm an Xbox dude. I like Xbox. And I like PlayStation. If we're talking about games that we actually, you know, that people are playing, But when cats want to get on the bullshit about stupid games that nobody gives a fuck about, like, I mean, god damn, how many times are you gonna talk about Bloodborne for a whole fucking year? Like that shit was fucking annoying. How many times are you gonna put up, gameplay of fucking Uncharted multiplayer? Not even the fucking main game, multiplayer. Oh my god. Like that shit, that dumb shit, I can't do it. I mean, you could just obviously see they're trying to cater to a specific audience, which is the PlayStation audience, which is fine. And that's cool for them, and that's what works for them. But me as an Xbox dude, I don't give a fuck about that shit. So why the fuck would I want to surround myself with number one people that all they do is talk about each other and other people, right? And then half the time they talk about shit I don't even give a fuck about. With the type of games they like and the type of platform they play on. I mean, because it's basically the main group of people. They're all PC gamers, really. I mean, they play on console on occasion, but they're mainly PC gamers. So it's just like, and everybody that really fucks with them, they all think the same, Like they'll make up stupid ass arguments about, oh well, Xbox guys think that they can beat a PC guy in Halo, if he's using keyboard and mouse. I'm like, who the fuck says shit like this? No, I don't remember any Xbox dude ever saying, oh, let me, get an unfair advantage against a PC gamer. Now, Xbox dudes might say they prefer playing on controller to keyboard and mouse, and might feel that the game is being tarnished when you're playing a Halo game on PC. But never have I ever heard Xbox gamers say, oh, the keyboard and mouse isn't as accurate as the controller. Now you're just talking dumb shit. You're just talking dumb shit. And that's the shit that the fuckery that they mess with, man. Like I don't know, man. Like, to each his own. I mean, their podcast to me is catered towards the people who like drama and shit like that. I mean, I know they say they don't, but actions speak louder than words. You could say you don't all day, but when you fucking have Kids Move up there, having his whole family and his kids being talked about, all that bullshit that you said before is like thrown out the window. Even if you said that, like that shit was fucking crazy. And I didn't even watched the shit. I just saw the Next Gen's video and heard the little excerpt about what was going on between Kid Spoof, Bond, and Hard 8. And I'm sitting there like, yo, this is straight up bullshit right here, yo. This is exactly why I don't watch this show. This is exactly why I don't go on this show. These motherfuckers don't give a shit. Like, they don't have kids, so they don't give a fuck about yours. They don't have wives, so they don't give a fuck about yours. Like the shit is crazy, man. Like that shit is crazy. Like, I don't know. You got one guy who kind of just, I don't know, man. I won't get into that, but it's just, nah, man. It's just not for me, man. I mean, more power to them. If that's what their viewers want. They just want to talk shit about each other and they like that shit. That's cool. But yeah, man. Xbox gamers ain't about that shit, man. We play games, man. That's what we do. We play games. We don't sit around and argue about who the fuck best gamer is. You know how we settle that argument? We settle that shit in the fucking game, right? We play the goddamn game. Then you could see, oh shit, such and such is fucking beast. You don't gotta sit and bloviate about how good he is. You can see, look at his fucking score in Halo. Dude is wrecking fucking shot. Like Zaz. Zaz is a fucking monster in Halo. Goddamn monster. He don't have to run around and talk about how good he is in Halo. The fucking numbers speak for themselves. See what I'm saying? Like these motherfuckers, man. I don't know, man. It's just that shit with Kid Smooth was fucked up, son. That shit was fucked up. And the simple fact that people keep on DMing me about that shit after the fact, I'm like, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna have you talk about your wife and your kids and all that bullshit. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck that. I'm not down with that shit at all. Especially these dudes that don't have nobody. You know, they ain't taking care of nobody. Like, you don't have no kids, so you don't know shit about having kids. You don't have no wife. You don't know shit about having a wife. So, like, talking shit about somebody's family is, that shit is grimy as fuck. But they don't see it that way. And I can't fuck with people like that, man. I just can't, man. People I fuck with, all the podcasts that I do, man, most of the people have kids, have spouses, we respect one another. We don't go out there and fucking bash each other. If we're ragging on each other on something game related or whatever, and we might talk shit here and there, but it's never personal. It's never on some kid shit, some wife shit. It's never on the level that these guys go to. We're not running around calling people faggots and shit. Like, that shit is fucking crazy, yo. Shit is fucking crazy. Like, they talk about the Xbox community being toxic and all this shit, but look at the shit that these motherfuckers do. Like, we got game nights all the time, man. There's so many people in our game nights, we can't even get everybody in. Half the time, we really need to set up multiple parties just to cater to all the people that we have for game nights. Especially shout out to PTK and GKB and She-Wolf. Mainly the console corner, man. They really do a great job of promoting game night, especially She-Wolf. She be on her shit, but like the fact that these guys have the audacity to talk about the Xbox community like we're crazy when these motherfuckers do this type shit is wild, yo. Shit is wild. To each his own, I guess. But like if you look at the people that follow them, it's like all these fucking weirdo ass ponies that send the gay shit on fucking Twitter. Like all of them, all the guys that most Xbox guys have blocked are the people that follow the Weapon Wheel podcast. Like they love those guys. So, if we have them blocked, why the fuck would we go to an arena to talk about, games where we're not really talking about games? It's just a roast session where we can get fucking harassed by all the dudes that we have blocked on Twitter. Like, that shit doesn't make any sense, man. It doesn't make any sense. And then you got the motherfuckers that, after the fact, after you go on the show, that just try to harass you for like fucking weeks on end. Like the shit is crazy, man. And the shit that they were doing to Kid Smooth is just fucking ruthless, yo. Like these motherfuckers was crazy, putting pictures of like fake pictures of his kids and saying, oh man, this shit was fucking nuts, yo. I'm sitting there like, yo, these motherfuckers is wilding. I've never seen no shit like this. Like, this is why I don't really fuck with PlayStation community like that. And I'm not saying it's all of them, but like they don't check these motherfuckers that are crazy. The ones that are in the community. They don't. They just let them run wild and talk crazy shit and harass people and put up gay pics of people, and they don't call them out on that bullshit. Not at all. They just let that shit slide. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't be I know I'm an Xbox dude, and we tend to see it because we're the ones being harassed. But the shit is crazy. You can't just turn a blind eye to it and be like, oh, this shit ain't happening because it ain't happening to me. Like, nah, fuck that, man. Yeah, but I'm not doing that podcast, man. I'm never gonna do it. Not again. There's nothing there for me. I'm not gonna learn anything. There's no growth there. Like when you go on a podcast, it's supposed to be a discussion. There's nothing being discussed on there. It's just a fucking argument. They're trying to argue your opinion about whatever, you know. Whereas if I'm on an Xbox podcast or I'm on a podcast with people that are, you know, thinking gamers, you know, I can have an opinion about something. Somebody else can have a different opinion, and we can come to an agreement that, yeah, I might not totally agree with your opinion, but I see where you're coming from. There is none of that in those podcasts. It's their way or the fucking highway. And if you don't fucking agree with them, then they're just gonna fucking roast the shit out of you. That's all it is. And that's straight bullshit, man. It's not a fucking conversation, man. It's just it's a straight up roast fest, you know. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know what y'all want, man. It's just not for me. It's not. There's no point on going on there. You know, fucking Bond to just talk about PC and make me fall asleep. Then he'll try to make up like fake arguments about. He was like, "Well, how do you feel about all your exclusives going to PC?" They're not, as long as I can play them on Xbox, doesn't matter. Wintan fam. Oh, well, that's stupid now. You know what I mean? Like, these guys just want to argue, you know? That's all it is. Because if you say, okay, it doesn't matter, then they'll try to explain to you why it should matter to you, even though you say it doesn't matter, you know? But, oh, well, you're stupid for thinking that it doesn't matter. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you care what I think, you know? Like, shit is wild shit, bro. I don't know, man. It's you know, maybe it's because the whole, I don't know, Xbox did so well during E3 that shit got a little bit louder and more hostile, and they just want people to kind of go at it. And I don't know what they're fucking talking about on that podcast because I don't watch it anymore. But maybe that's why people keep on DMing me about going on there, because I don't know, they have some new bullshit theory of why the Xbox won't sell or some dumb shit like that. But I'm not interested. I'm just not, man. There's nothing there, you know. I mean, I'm sorry to disappoint any of you that really, really wanted me to go on there, but I'm not gonna sit there and fucking argue with fucking people that. What's the point? There's no fucking real point in it. You're just arguing to argue. There's nothing being learned. There's nothing being discussed, you know. And if you win the argument, they try to jump to something else, you know. So it's a pointless shit to do, man. But I don't know. Oh, one thing I did want to say, not really pertaining to the fucking weapon wheel shit, but isn't it ironic how funny and how funny everybody talks shit about Xbox having dynamic resolution, you know, and saying how shit that was because PlayStation had locked 1080p, and now that, you know, dynamic resolution is going to be used in order to work on all Xbox games, nobody has shit to say about that. I just thought that was kind of funny. You know, now all games are going to be have dynamic resolution because they're going to aim for a central frame, a unified frame rate, and then all, well, except for like I'm pretty sure single player games will have like, some will have 60, other have 30, but like for multiplayer games, they'll mainly have, you know, dynamic resolution, and that shit is dope. Because now it shows you why, you know, why Xbox was getting so many dynamic resolution games. It makes a lot of sense, especially with the whole, when they were like saying how like our DX12 and all that shit, and a lot of the games that they were talking about DX12, all of those games came out with like dynamic resolution. Something interesting, man. I wonder if fucking as Battlefield has dynamic resolution. Because that'd be dope shit. Because now you basically went from what was it, 720, or yeah, I think it was 720p. So you go to 1080p. That should be fucking fire, yo. Even though I'm not a real fan of that game, but that shit is still dope as hell. Well, I can't wait for it for Halo, yo. That's my shit. Actually, I'm about to go play some goddamn Halo right now. All right, this is your boy Live, and I'm out this bitch, baby.